how we all want our assets to look. You see how beautiful this is, man. We have an uncracked pavement surface. This is the kind of thing that I want to show off to people. I want them to see how good I'm maintaining my roadways. We want tourists coming in this area. They're going to look around and go, wow, this is really beautiful. They really maintain it well. This is the kind of stuff we put on postcards and we show it on television to make people like what we do. A lot of times, though, this is how our assets actually look. And one thing to consider when we're looking at some of these pictures of how our assets look, in some cases, and I'll go ahead and address this now, perhaps patch jobs are all you can do. Perhaps that's all the budget will allow. And if that's the case, then you need to do the most you can with the budget funds that you have. But in a lot of places, we are judged by how our infrastructure, how our assets look. Are they aesthetically pleasing? And this would be one of those instances, one of those times where people would probably say, you know what? No, that's not really what we're looking for. We want something that looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more cohesive, not different pieces here and there. And I get asked sometimes when I show this slide, well, why didn't they just go ahead and do a mill and resurface on the whole lane? And the answer is they may not have had the funding to do it. This may have been all that they could do. And in that case, based on a low cost improvement, it's better than nothing. However, it's one of our assets, and it's unfortunately one of the things we get judged by when people drive our roadways. They see this, and then they see something like this, and for people, they don't add up. So sometimes that causes some consternation from our road users. How do our assets really look? Well, apparently on this roadway, we had a whole lot of cracks. And so what we did is we came in and we sealed these cracks as soon as we could to make sure we didn't have any more water infiltrating through the pavement down into the base and the subgrade. We also filled it because we didn't want air blowing through there and causing any additional damage, any wind damage as well. So we got them closed. Unfortunately, it's not the aesthetically pleasing look we want, but what we have done is extended the life of the roadway. We're going to get more life out of it than we would have if we had just left it alone, because eventually it would have just crumbled. Now, when we talk about transportation asset management, we can do this. Let me say it directly to you. You can do this. You can set up a transportation asset management program. And it's like the old saying about how do you eat an elephant? You eat one bite at a time. Well, for transportation asset management, we're going to talk about doing things in stages because I'm one of those types of individuals. If I try to do a bunch of different things at one time, they just don't work out well. I need to focus on one thing at a time and I can get it done. And when we're talking about what tasks do we need to do to create a transportation asset management plan or to manage our assets better, well, we need to identify these tasks. Are they short term tasks? In other words, what could be a short term task? Well, here's what I would ask you to do. When's the last time you did a rainy day patrol? When is the last time when there was rain going on in your area and there was no work going on out in the field that you sent your people out there and said, listen, I want you to go out there and I want you to see how the water's running. Is it getting off the roadway? Are there places that it's sitting? Do we have slope drains that are clogged? Do we have catch basins that dirt and grass have grown up through it and now the water's just going around them? It's not going in them. That could be a short-term task. In other words, for the next day or two while it's raining, you all are just going to go out there and then you're going to report back to me, what is the status of our asset management? And then there's midterm work. Once we get that information back, we have to aggregate, we have to get it together and determine, okay, here are all of our assets. What are they doing? So we've gotten the short-term work, which was the easy, that's go out and collect the data. And then we've got the midterm work where we're going to have to put the data together. And then there's the long term. And that is, how are we going to address the issues that we've discovered? How are we going to unclog some of our catch basins? Or how are we going to address some of our sidewalks we see that are crumbling? The infrastructure is not what it needs to be. Or, hey, we've got signs down in certain places and we really need them up there. When are we going to be able to get those in? Can we go ahead and budget for those? We may not be able to do them tomorrow, but let's make a plan that says, from this time let's say for the next 8 months, this is what we're going to accomplish, and these are the steps we're going to take. So there's a short-term vision, a midterm vision, and then there's that long-term vision. We say, well, we've got all the information together. Here's what we're actually going to do.